Thanks so much for joining me on the Everything and Anything in a Bit Gay podcast. Today, I have an amazing guest. His name is Kevin Stone, and he is known as the Hollywood Hypnotist. So welcome to the show, Kevin.
But let me share the story because the listeners are going, "Where's the story, Kevin? Were you saying
go
the
for
story?"
it.
So my whole theory and take, even though talking with Brian Weiss, the guy who everyone back in the day would go to for the past life, right? And then there was Shirley MacLaine. Shirley MacLaine, huge, right? This is probably before your time, where all of this in the 80s, 90s, this was all the thing. You know what I mean? Past lives, healing from past lives, manifesting from past lives, all of this. So, of course, now I get into the field, and that's something that, again, we learn, we understand. But for me, because of how I approach things in my analytical mind, it has to be scientific, and I have to have scientific evidence for it. So even Brian Weiss, with his book, world-famous book, and again, we're going way back with Shirley MacLaine, and even before her, they did past life on some very famous celebrities. And I think one of them, what was his name? Ford. The actor's name was Ford. Really big guy in this, big celebrity in the 70s. And he was from Boston. And they went to Boston from this past life of all these things he was saying, and they couldn't find anything. So there was no evidence of what the past life was really doing. So I'm saying all of this to say, I do past life regressions for therapeutic work. Do I necessarily believe in them? No, because there's no evidence and there's no proof. And they've tried over the years to, like, again, you said your past life was on a farm, all this kind of thing. So what's the actuality of that? Is that inside your brain? Is that information that's stored in there? Because that subconscious mind is 88% of your brain's capacity. It's a giant filing cabinet. So how did the information get in there? Right? Was it really because you did have that past life and that was your experience? Or is it because your brain manifested the information from another resource? Because the brain starts to develop in our mother's womb. So that could be information that was on a radio or a TV show, or somebody was talking about that in a room. So your mind captured that information and held on to it. So then now we have a past life, and we really feel connected to that. But is it the information in the filing cabinet, or is it the actuality? So this is where I split for me, because I over the years, I've tried to get the scientific evidence and the information, and there's none that exists. So I don't discount it, because now I'm going to share my story of a past life of a woman who contacted me, very, very wealthy woman. And this was earlier in my career as a hypnotherapist. She was from Connecticut, a very, very wealthy woman. And she had been to every specialist, every doctor in the world, because she had shoulder pain.
Okay.
No meds, no doctors could help her. She had endless resource of money to get this done.
Yep.
She hears about me in California. She contacts me and says, "Listen, I heard about you. I think that you can help me." And I asked her why. I still ask everyone to this day, why do you think hypnosis is going to work for you? Right? Because it isn't for everybody, because they can't get past the stigma. They can't get past, just like you were saying earlier, Zach, how you're now more open-minded to it. But going in, you were blocked. You had reservation of, I'm not so sure, skeptical, cynicism. And I get it, because that was me. And I come from that environment. I grew up in that environment. So I battle that all the time. So she says, "I think you can help me because of what I hear about you." And I go, "Okay, what is it you would like to do?" She goes, I think my issues are from a past life. And I go, "Okay." And I explained to her what I just said to the listeners and to yourself about what my take was on past life. And I had contacted Brian at the time, and I said, this is, and he walked me through a couple of things, gave me some pointers. And I said, okay. So she comes out, and she had 6 sessions with me. And within the first couple of sessions, her story, again, very similar to yours. Her thing was, in a past life, she was like in the beginning of the Americas, the States, where she was in a covered wagon coming from the East Coast to the West Coast for the gold rush era.
Yeah.
This is like a movie. Okay, the story just like your story is like a movie line or a storybook line. So
Yeah.
she's in the covered wagon. They're coming across, and they're midway, and a fight breaks out, cowboy and Indian style. So the wagons go into a circle like you see in TV and the movies. And what happened was an arrow from one of the Indians, was a fire arrow, blazes through the canvas of the covered wagon, gets her in the shoulder.
It's on his shoulder. Yeah.
Stick it in her shoulder. Now, medical technology back in those days, not as good as it is today. So they break the arrow off, do all kinds of crazy medical things back, whatever they did in the 1800s. And she lives with this pain. So in a past life, we go in, we heal the pain correctly and magically. After I think 40 years or 35 years or something like that, no more pain.
Wow.
Gone. And that was because of the past life experience. Now, is that real? Is it true? Can I trace 1800s and her coming across? I mean, all of the information may be there, but she has no hard evidence of what that is. But it doesn't matter to me, because therapeutically, she unblocked that pain, and now she has no more pain. So that, to me, is powerful. And so therefore, I still do the past life regressions because of that. But I do find it fascinating to find the scientific evidence. I suppose one day, and again, like you, Zach, I'm very open-minded, where I believe that someday there will be some scientific evidence for it.
I think so too.
I'm optimistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. So you changed this whole woman's life, right? She went to doctors. She went to
everyone in the world. She had the resources to go. Every specialist in the world spent hundreds of thousands of dollars for years trying to get rid of this pain in her shoulder, and no one could do it.
So my question to you is, you helped this woman change her life completely. You've helped other people maybe stop smoking, lose weight, which changed their life. Maybe you save lots of lives probably from helping people stop smoking, right? You've prevented lots of people from getting cancer. Do you ever take a moment to kind of step back and think, I've had this much influence on people's lives. Like I've saved lives. I've made people's lives better. Do you ever stop and take that in for a minute? You should.
No.
You should.
And I'll tell you why. My position is always a humble position where I want to stay grounded. And it's really not me, Zach. It isn't me. It's me guiding the individual. And yes, do I have gifts from God that God is giving me to bestow? I've found those gifts, right? Not even knowing, because again, if we go back to the original question in the opening of this broadcast today, this wasn't something I was interested in doing. This wasn't even in my wheelhouse of thinking I'm going to become the most famous guy in the world and sought after guy for the work of hypnotism, where I grew up, where hypnotism is taboo and all this crazy stuff. There was not even a thought about that. So for me, my philosophy has always been, my passion is helping people to help themselves. I'm just a conduit. I'm a facilitator. I'm helping people to go where they need to go. And that's all that this is. To take any credit for that, it's not me, Zach.
Yeah, but I disagree, because you've been trained in this and you know how to get people there. And I think it's amazing what you're doing and what you've done for people. And I think that you should I get where you're coming from, where it's not you, but it is you, because you're trained to do that. Those people couldn't sit there and hypnotize themselves and make themselves stop smoking, or make this woman's shoulder stop hurting after 35, 40 years. Right. I mean, you really have helped people, and I think you should be so proud of that. So,
well, I appreciate your flattery and your comments, and everyone's entitled to their opinion. But again, I'm going to stay in that humble position where I'm just a facilitator.
But I still think it's amazing what you did. Have you ever? What about people that come in and they have such a closed mind? Do you have people that you can't hypnotize because they're so closed-minded?
That's an excellent question, because yes, there's not that I haven't been able to hypnotize them, because again, all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. We go in and out of it about 1,000 times a day. And if I was to tell you this, Zach, you are a natural hypnotist as well. What does your mind do right now? Does it go, does it explode? What do you think about that?
I think it would be
Right.
awesome if I could do it. Yeah.
No, you do it. See, you don't realize you do it. Now, let me tell you how you do it.
Okay. Tell me.
You run a successful podcast, right? You have an amazing guest on your podcast. So what you're doing by this format is you're hypnotizing people to keep coming back for more and more and more. You see? So that's the natural, organic, which is called environmental hypnosis. And you're harnessing
Okay.
that power and you don't even know you're doing it. So now if I show you how to harness that power, what kind of monster are we going to turn you into? Right? Because remember, all good things have an evil side, right? All good
Yeah.
things can be used for bad. So keep that in mind. Okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what it is. This is how the balance of life works. All good can be bad. All bad can be good. That's our yin and yang. That's the balance of life. That's universal law, right?
Yeah.
So you're a hypnotist. You're just not calling yourself a hypnotist. You're a podcaster or however you label yourself. That's who Zach is, right? But you're really hypnotizing people. That's why your podcast is still going strong. You get successful guests on your podcast because you're doing things you don't even understand yet. Just like politicians, there's a natural way of how they do things. Some start to understand that. And then they call me and I coach them and they learn different techniques like NLP and stuff like that. So if I was to ask you just off the top of your head, what two recent, I'll give you a hint, what two recent presidents understand the power of suggestion, influence, which is really hypnosis? What two of those do you think are?
I mean, I think people are hypnotized by Trump a lot of times, his whole following.
100%.
I don't think Biden had that. I think probably Obama had that too.
Excellent. Obama not only had it, but Obama understood the power of it and was coached to learn more about exactly what I'm
Really?
telling you. That's why I just opened up your mind because you're like, wait a minute, I'm a hypnotist as well. How do I
Yeah.
learn more to make my business bigger, make my podcast bigger and more successful, right? So Obama is now Trump natural. Trump just, I don't know what it is. Just some people just natural in the way they do things. Okay.
Yeah.
Again, we're not here to get into politics. I'm just trying to, because this is everything people we can relate to. When Obama understood the power of that influence and his cadence, his speeches, he learned neuro-linguistic programming. And don't even take my word for it. Go look it up. It's all on Google. You can look it all up and how he studied this. It became the president that he became. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how natural it is. That's what I was trying to get to because it's called environmental hypnosis. Again, we go in and out of this zone about 1,000 times a day. Now, do you remember, or even maybe you're doing it now, or maybe some of your listeners are doing it now, that they're driving in their car, they're listening to this, and they just missed their exit somewhere, right?
Oh, yeah, totally. Yes.
Yeah, because they're focused on this. That's hypnosis, right?
Yeah.
Watching a good movie, reading a good book, childbirth, yoga, anything that you centralize your focus on. This is why I'm saying you're a hypnotist. They centralize and they focus on why? Because they like tuning into Zach. They like to watch the podcast. They like to listen to your voice. All of these things are this suggestibility, allowing you to become the hypnotist. You don't even realize it because you're doing it naturally.
Interesting. I never thought of it that way. That's a great. I learned something new today. That's great. That's why I love having people like you on. So
excellent. Yeah, but that's how naturalistic it is. That's what we're really getting to about what is this ability? What is this hypnosis thing, right? Well, we're doing it all day long. Every single one of us is doing it all day long. So why not understand the power of it and use it for what you want to use it for to empower yourself to achieve your maximum potential with it? And that's what clicked for me when my turning point back in the day in school, because I wasn't taking it seriously. Again, I was just there for the college credit. Didn't really pass my mind about, I'm going to be this guy 30 years later. Not even in the wheelhouse. So it really switched for me when I started to understand, well, wait a minute, if this is a natural thing, how do I really start to utilize it? And of course, that's what I started doing. Because I was that guy, Zach. I was and I still am today. I'm a very introverted guy. But when you see me, with all of, because I do the comedy hypnosis shows as well, when you see all that
Yeah.
stuff, people think, oh, I'm this guy.
Yeah.
No, that's all learned. And that's all through the power and the applications of hypnosis.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Who's the most person that impressed you kind of the most that you met or that you felt like you had the biggest impact on as a celebrity that we know? If you can say it,
Celebrities.
I don't know if you can.
You know, that's a good question, and I get asked that a lot, right? Because it's a curiosity factor. Who's the one who's the most challenging, or who's the one who, most impact? All the same stuff, right? I never really thought about that because to me, I see things for what they are. I don't care who you are, what your titles are. I mean, because again, you know who I am, and others after
Mm.
watching this are probably going to look me up. And so I
Yeah.
deal with what is now deemed the one percenters, right? The people who influence us, the people who run this world, the people who we see on TV and the movies that we're inspired by, all of these things. I don't
Yeah.
see things that way. I don't put titles on things. That's why even your compliments earlier is well, I appreciate dearly, and it really, really touches my heart. But I don't see things that way because when somebody comes to me, it's all the same. We're all humans. We're all pretty much built the same way. We all have issues that once we discover them, we want to find somebody who's going to help us to overcome them, remove the blocks to get to our higher self, right? So it doesn't matter who one is because if I really want to start to categorize and go, well, how do you compare the Prince of Egypt to a celebrity, George Clooney?
Yeah.
Who's better? Who's worse? I don't see things in that realm. I just see the person before me, like I'm looking at you right now and going, how can I help you? And how can I guide you to give you the tools to help you to overcome your blocks to achieve your maximum potential in life? I can't answer the question because I don't think in that term, in that way.
Yeah, I get it. So what is your main focus now? Because I mean, you could do I think there's a lot of things you maybe have done or are doing, but, I think you could write a book about all this or many books about
Oh yeah,
this.
many books.
I think yeah, I think
Maybe
you
a
could
TV
just
movie of the week.
yeah, or I think you could do I think you could do a whole Vegas act residency, I think you could
Yes.
do, stuff like that. You could teach people how to do this. I think you'd make I mean, you like to learn yourself, so I think you could teach people how to do this, which I know you said you did a bit anyway, but I mean, like, especially now with online and Zoom and stuff, you could sit here and do classes all day. Eh,
100%.
or you have your clients that you're doing. So what's kind of like, what do you think that you'll be doing, let's say in 5 years from now, or what would you like to be
It's
doing?
retire.
Okay. Love it.
Retiring
Got it. Got it.
100%. But no,
Yeah, good answer.
that's there's no retiring. Again, how do you retire, right? There is,
Yeah.
and what is retirement? A lot of the people who come and see me once they get retired, they don't know what to do with themselves. Everyone, in our world is geared a specific way, and we all start to follow that map. And then we get there and we go, well, wait a minute, this isn't working for me. I'm retired now. I don't even know what to do with myself. So a lot of the people who come and see me now have issues that now they need to refine or rediscover themselves to reinvent themselves because retirement isn't what it's all cut out to be, right?
Yeah.
So retirement, what does that mean? When you do what you love, Zach, and you understand this, and a lot of listeners are understanding this now, when you do what you love, you're passionate about that. And you're going to do that for the rest of your life. I have a lot of people who I get in conversations with. Why I don't know, but they ask me because maybe they've seen me. Maybe a video was posted or a TV show, me hypnotizing one of the celebrities, right? And then they have forgotten about that celebrity. So a lot of the questions I get is, why is that person still working? Why is that person still doing commercials? I don't understand why they're still acting. Well, and I go, what do you mean? That's their passion. That's their core. That's what they started out as. Well, Jennifer Aniston. We'll give that example, right? Does she need to do any more work for the rest of her life?
No, not at all.
Absolutely not. Right. So we'll use her as an example because now she's dating a hypnotist too. So this is a story for another day. She is. Yes.
Okay. I'll have to Google that afterwards.
Yes. Oh, Zach, it's the news story of the last 2 months.
Okay. I missed that one, but yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah, he's a hypnotist. He's out of the East Coast, I think. And that's her new relationship. And he's been helping her with various things. And she's been very vocal about it and very public about it. So yeah, go Google it. Anyway.
Yeah.
So we'll use her as an example. So a lot of people go, because she's on a lot of commercials now. And again, the bottom line is her, Brad Pitt, I mean, a lot of the A-list, right? Do they really need to be working anymore? No, they're set for life, right? Yeah. But I tell people, I said, look, it's not about the money. They're doing what they're passionate about, what they started their lives to be, and what they ended up evolving to become. And so just because you have all this money, or houses, cars, whatever the material things are that people seek, they haven't forgotten their core, their passion. So of course they're going to, it was like, I don't understand why Jennifer's doing a commercial. Because again, we all understand the hierarchy, even people who are not in the business, that, if you're not doing a motion picture, if you're doing a commercial, that's two different worlds. Yeah. Like who does commercials, right? Yeah. Up and coming actors and actresses do commercials because there's no money in it, right? But they're doing it because they're passionate about what they do. And that's my point. So for me, is there ever retirement? No, I think I'm going to continue to do what I do and expand my business for others to, like what you said, the books, the classes, and really cement that legacy when I'm long gone so people can still be learning from that material, right?
Yeah, I think that exactly. I feel like you've got this talent and you want to leave it here for people, like you said, as your legacy when you're gone one day.
100%. Because again, I'm standing on the shoulders of giants, right? I've had mentors. I've got people who are no longer with us in my industry who were my mentors. And so I'm just, again, passing the torch because there's going to be somebody after me. But I'm setting the foundation of things that I've created, what I've implemented, and trying to teach people that. But that's somewhat of a frustrating thing too, because to teach what I'm able to do is not easily transferable. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I mean, if you were to kind of document this in a book or whatever on how to do this, have you thought about like how you would kind of lay that out so somebody could do it? I feel like that they need.
Yeah, everything is already developed. It's just waiting. Everything's about timing. And it'll all come.
Cool.
I'm very aggressive in my personality when it comes to business, but there's timing with everything, and it's all about the proper timing. So, and that will come, and you will know. You know what I mean? Because if you try to do it or you try to push it, it's just not going to work. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, I mean, you get this.
Yeah. If somebody wants to get in touch with you for a session, do they go to your website for that?
Yeah. Go to the website. Okay. That's the best place, or Google the best hypnotist in the world. So most people, this is the crazy thing. So I tell people, go to the website hypnotist.com. And they go, what?
You get the best URL. You get the best domain name ever.
I'm glad you just did that, Zach, because that's exactly what, again, I've been doing this a long time. So I got in early when the internet, this is way before your time. You were still probably in grade school when all this was happening for me, right? So I own hypnotist.com. And so, but people somehow it doesn't connect, or they spell it. Even when I go in sometimes to check and see what's going on with the webmaster, make sure everything's updated and all that, I type in the wrong thing sometimes. And so I just tell people, look, if you forget that, just Google, go to Siri, go to Chat GPT, just put in the best hypnotist in the world. And more than likely, I'm going to come up. Because again, I'm standing on the shoulders of giants.
I mean, I think you're amazing. I'm so glad I got to interview you. I really want people to go to your website and learn more about you if they don't know who you are already. And, I think there's a lot of people out there that you may get that will contact you for some of this, whether it's smoking or weight or trauma or who knows, maybe past lives or something. So I hope you get a lot of people contacting you for this.
Everything happens for a reason, right? There's no
Yeah.
chance, there's no luck. You know, people will discover and be guided to the people they need to be guided to help them for the time of where they're at. That's my
Yeah.
belief system, right? So
I
that's how
believe
they
that too.
find me too, right? Or they found me through somebody else, or even this podcast to be like, oh, now the wheels start thinking in their head and they think, yeah, I think I want to work on this obscure thing that no one ever even heard of. They go, hey,
Yeah.
can you hypnotize me for that? And the answer is yes, absolutely, 100%. My success rate's hitting right around 95, 98%.
Wow.
Yeah, and so that's why people seek me out. So anyway, let's do something really quick because I think
Okay.
are we wrapping this up already? Wow, time went by fast, Zach. All right,
Yeah.
take
We
your
had a
hands,
good
put them up like
conversation.
this. Take your hands, fold them down like this. And now, if you're trying along at home, or if you're driving and listening, do not do this. Only
Yes.
do this when you get home, rewatch the podcast, and then this will be good for you. Take your two fingers, put them up like that. So what we're doing now is we're taking our two index fingers, our pointing fingers, and putting them up. Now, Zach, put them up so you're looking up right down the center of them. Don't look at me.
Okay.
Don't look at the screen. Look down the center of your two fingers.
Okay.
You'll find us starting, open them up a little bit, Zach. Open them up. There you go. You'll find us starting right now. Those two fingers will start to move in closer and closer together. There's two magnets pulling and tugging, pulling closer, closer, closer. The more you resist, the more they will move in. Touching. They're going to touch. When they do touch, you'll reach the height of your suggestibility as they continue to move in closer, 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 closer. Touching. Good. Freeze right there. Now, I can convert you into a hypnotic state right now, Zach, because you did that at free will, right? Explain to everybody what just happened to you. So I didn't influence you or anything until just now, but we didn't set this up. We didn't have a meeting.
I didn't know you were going to do this at all.
Exactly. So that's the power of suggestion. We were talking about this earlier with the environmental hypnosis. That's exactly it right there. I just used a language pattern to get you to the point of where your fingers started to move.
Yeah.
That's the simplicity of it.
Wow. That's amazing.
Wild. And listen, this is what I'm going to do. Because I think my battery's dying on my system too. So we got to go.
Okay.
Anyone listening? We'll do this again, right?
Yeah, sure.
Because what's kind of challenging, because this is like our second or third time we try to get this going, and because of conflicts and time and meeting, I don't know. So finally we were able to do this, folks. Just to let you know, this behind the curtain, what really goes on. It was a little bit challenging for both of us to really connect and make this happen, but I'm glad I did. So here's what we're going to do. Now I have total power programming systems that I offer. If you go to my website, they're $275 just for one programming system. Everyone listening to this podcast or watching the podcast for the next week, this is going to be released within a week, Zach, or?
I have to look at the schedule. Probably not a week, but I'll let you know when it does. Hopefully your computer didn't die, because if you can hear me, I can't hear you. So this is what we're going to do. Unfortunately, we had a little bit of technical difficulties with Kevin towards the end of the podcast. I think maybe his computer or phone died, however he was calling in. But I am going to find out what the offer was that he was going to give anyone that went to his website, and I will put it in the description of this podcast or video that you're watching, and that way you can go and you can take advantage of this. And again, Kevin was an amazing guest, and I'm so thankful that he came on. And as he was saying before, him and I were trying to schedule this and going back and forth between our two schedules, and I'm really thankful that I got to bring him on. You got to hear who he is, because he's an amazing guy. So thank you so much for listening. Be sure to subscribe to it. And again, sorry for the technical difficulties at the end. It's the world of technology and it's where we are. But I will get the information from Kevin, and I will make sure that I'll get you that code for him for you to get. I believe he was going to give you a discount, I believe. So thanks so much for listening. Be sure to subscribe and leave a comment what you thought about this episode. Thanks so much.